So what's the worst part of living in China? I figure I'd follow up yesterday's video with this because I'm sure a lot of people are curious as well. What don't I like? Now there's, just like the other video, a lot of things I could say. It's pretty noisy here. Car horns, people talking loud on the phone, stuff like that. Small things. The big one that I want to really call out today is censorship. Probably not in the way that you're thinking. Now, obviously I'm posting this on Instagram, so that should go to show you just how hard it is to get around the censorship that you've probably heard of and that you probably think of. But that's not to say it doesn't exist. And so what that really looks like, and why it's my least favorite thing about living here, is that most Chinese people who aren't motivated, don't have a motivation to go check out other sources of information than what's available in China, have a very different view of the world. And it's mostly silly things. Like, there's a pretty significant portion of the population that think all Americans have blonde hair and blue eyes. A lot of kind of harmless, silly stereotypes like that. But what I really don't like about it is that, like a lot of places in the world, a lot of Chinese get their information about America exclusively from Hollywood. And so that paints a very rosy picture of what it's like to be an American. And so I do get a lot of bafflement from people who haven't done any real deep research and think that life in America is like Friends or Disney, and they don't understand why I would choose to come to China, which is still a developing country, definitely. A lot of room for improvement in economic terms. That's one side of the problem. The other side is because, Chinese people do understand that all of media has some influence, has a political angle. They're even less likely to believe things that are true when it comes from their own government. So we kind of saw an interesting version of that play out when, TikTok refugees lit up on Red Note saying the reality of being a working class person in America, the reality of homelessness, mental health, drug addiction, that really plagues America. And a lot of Chinese, their response was, wow, I thought our government was just lying about that to make us feel better about China. But as we all know, in America, those are very real problems. At this point, I expect the Chinese government will continue to ease, information controls, because really the trajectories of the two countries are pretty much going in opposite directions, and it becomes a lot easier to justify the choices that one side has made without having to protect their people from the media influence of the other side. So it could be wishful thinking. So we'll see. Again, any questions, hit me up in the comments or DM. Later.